Goodness. Okay.
Mhm.
Hello. Welcome to Conversations with Sifa. She's Sifa. I'm Kagika's today's guest.
Yeah,
And today we're going to be talking about
just men.
just man. I'm a man.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, so
Mhm.
guys, welcome to our channel today. And interestingly enough, we're going to kind of focus on the idea of how society has raised men and how we feel like has it impacted them negatively or positively based on how men have been raised.
Mm.
Like this guy here, maybe he's a woman. We have no idea.
No, last time I checked.
You are a man.
Mm.
Yeah, he's a man. So
Yeah.
anyway, so to begin,
Mm.
Akagikai, um, what? Let me. Okay, a very simple question.
Mhm.
Based on how you have been raised as a man
Mhm.
in the society,
Mhm.
not forgetting that in the society we have these kind of expectations
Mhm.
when growing up,
Mm.
and we also have this kind of these patterns or rules
Mm.
that we ought to follow as parents.
Mm.
Okay, well, let me say, living with a man in the house.
Mm.
So for you, do you think the way you've been raised and following the society's
Mm.
um, rules or regulations,
Mm.
do you feel like it has helped you? It has impacted your life, in other words.
Okay. I'd say
Uh-huh.
okay. My background. I'm the only male child,
Uh-huh.
last born. I have two elder sisters,
Okay.
and I was raised by a single mom.
Yeah.
For my formative years.
Uh-huh.
So I'd say, luckily, I missed out on most of the societal norms when it comes to being a man. Like around the house, with everybody would do chores.
Yeah.
Like there was no gender specific roles.
Uh-huh.
If it's cleaning, everybody cleans.
Everybody
If
clean.
it's cooking, everybody cooks.
Yeah.
As long as you're able and you're in the house, you
You will
do.
do the work.
Yeah. So how it has impacted me, I think it left me. I give credit to my mom. Hi, mom.
Hi.
I give credit to my mom because it gave me like the basic skills. These
Yeah.
are basic skills. When you cooking, cleaning, what those are skills that
Yeah.
you will need later in life.
True.
So the way it impacted me was when
Uh-huh.
I started living by myself. When I moved out
Yeah.
of my place,
Uh-huh.
my mom's place, I was self-sufficient. I could cook, I could clean for myself. I didn't need somebody to do that. So
Yeah.
I'd say positively.
It worked for you.
Yeah, it did. And I know like guys, my peers that
Uh-huh.
have never cooked in their life. Like
Okay.
when you're growing up, they've
Uh-huh.
never cooked.
So
And putting them in the kitchen, they're like, oh, it's like
they wouldn't do it.
it's an alien world.
So in other words, you feel like remember in the African society, men have men in other words are supposed to observe or adhere to this kind of male
Mm,
work,
mm,
and then the female also have their own kind of work. For instance, let me say a man is expected to ensure that the compound is clean in terms of slashing, in terms of pruning the flowers and things like that. And as a woman, you're supposed to be doing the house jobs. So, do you feel like in that aspect, Macu, let me say you, for instance, you didn't, you're not exposed in that angle whereby, let me say you are favored, but let me say these other kind of men who have been raised up in a family whereby they're not supposed to do house chores, they're not supposed to do this kind of these basic skills. How do you think, like, let me say, it has affected them negatively?
There's a real big impact because when you come out to the world,
Yeah.
so you're raised in a bubble, right?
Yeah.
You have your family structure and you see what's going on, and then you become an adult.
Yeah.
Go out to the world, you start interacting with people. You can definitely tell whereby somebody has been raised a certain way.
True.
And in 2021, mostly, there's some things you expect somebody to know, as in just basic just rules and norms of society.
Yeah.
Like there's no need to have things that are pointlessly gendered.
Yeah.
Now, when somebody comes out of this bubble that they were raised in and out to the world, you find that most people don't cope well with. Is it cope? No, not cope. Like they don't have the skills to interact properly with other people, and yeah, I think it's a negative thing. Because if you're
it's
coming
like
into
being disadvantaged.
yes, no, definitely,
Yeah.
most definitely. Because if you're coming into a society whereby everything, as in you have like expectations that the society, as in a society expects something from you, right?
True.
And there's the basic decency, not even basic decency. Forgotten the word I'm looking for. Or there's like not expectations. Do you know like how you live with other people, like how you interact with just basically humans, not even genders, just humans. There's like a minimum bar. There's a level of expectation that this kind of thinking of this is a man's role and this is a woman's role does not translate. And then you just get people who are stamped by the world. And trying to force what they know into the world, bringing like you can't change the world.
Yeah, true.
So it's a disadvantage.
The man. Okay, I also feel like also towards the lady, it might also be a disadvantage, especially whereby you're told like as a woman or as a lady, especially in the house, where let me say the bulb is not working, and then you're like, let him do it, and then you as a woman, you're like, you have to observe. I also feel like that is kind of a disadvantage to the woman, but since talking about the men, let's focus on the men.
Okay.
Right? So there's this particular clip I saw where the guys, men in Mombasa, were going to the market. What's your take? Would you go to the market?
No, I go to the market every time. Like
and buy tomatoes.
Yes. Actually, you need to like the best ingredients. You need to market. I'm sorry. I'm getting excited up because like I have like vendors that are the best. So yes.
No, I'm asking you that is because I was at work, and then we had this kind of heated argument, and someone was saying, imagine me going to the market as a man, kukaliwa, So I'm like, I don't see like if it's a bad thing, and I would say most women always feel like it's bad. Like maybe let me say a man or a husband going to the market while the woman is seated.
Oh, that is like pointlessly gendered. Honestly, so it's the market. It's the market.
Just walking there.
It's a market. Like that's where you're going to get your food. Where are you going to get your food from? Why should you not go to the market?
You just have to go to the market, in other words, because you have to eat at the end of the day.
Yes, it's a market. You can't say that's a woman's job. Honestly, that's messed up.
So basic.
Look, it's the market. I'd much rather hear that heated argument about house stores. But market. People have problems with going to the market.
Yeah, there are those people who find it like it's not their thing, it's not a manly thing. It's like most people still like if a man goes to the market, huyu amekaliwa nyumbani. Because we have been brought up in a place whereby we expect these things to be done by female and not the men. So I think that's where we have the problem. We haven't changed our mindset. We still are rooted to the past, forgetting that we're in the 21st century. We're in the modern world, and so things are different.
All right, so somebody like that, how do they survive? Because I'm assuming, unless you're moving out of your parents' house, then going directly into marriage, there might be a gap there. What do they do? Like, do not go to the market that gap before?
I think they do. I think
Of course they do.
yeah, so it's normal. Either you're married or no married is normal. It's okay. You have to just go to the market.
But okay, you brought up point of that thing of traditions.
Yeah.
There are those roles that
Mm-hmm.
have been assigned to genders,
Yes.
but not by us.
By who?
By our parents and their parents' parents. As in,
So
it's,
okay,
it's
let me say.
time. The time has passed. You know, like okay, when let's say for example, when we were growing up, they didn't have Wi-Fi. They didn't have YouTube. Can you imagine that one? Oh, that was a bad one. That was so. Why would you carry rules from that time to now? They can't apply.
So do you think these rules are mostly brought out by the female or the men?
Oh no, patriarchy.
The men.
It's
I think
definitely.
so.
It's
Yeah,
not even definitely.
They kind of say this is
Definitely.
not. Then you have to adhere to it.
Do you know, like when you get to a position where you can put yourself up on a pedestal.
Yeah.
You're higher.
Yeah.
That's not a position you want to give up willingly.
No, it reminded me something. As while growing up, I think there are these people. Let me say some of my friends that I know who are male, and surprisingly, I kind of admire their life. Looking at how they will do house chores, and it was normal for them. The parents kind of the same way, like let me say how your mom trained you, like just to do every house chore, not picking saying this is not mine, this is my sister's kind of work. So I think I kind of admire that kind of lifestyle. And there's a point whereby I would raise such issues like, you as a man, you also have to do this. And you say maybe people will start telling you, you are a feminist. Why are you kind of expecting a man to do this? That is a feministic kind of perspective. But I tend to believe that is not being a feminist. I think it's just being liberal. Like we can't live in the past, observe in the past, and still expect to grow.
Yeah.
And I think that's what even makes marriage boring. I'm not yet married, but I tend to believe it might make marriage kind of tricky in a way, because you might have fights whereby, let me say, if you are doing everything in the house and your hubby is just there watching his daily and like bring me the water and like it's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
I feel like
you'll get tired of that.
You get tired.
Yeah.
And people fail to raise that in the name of it is not safe. You're not supposed to ask. You're supposed to do this and not complain. But I feel like it's not.
I think there's that cycle that should be broken.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you can't do is it Einstein who said doing the same thing and expecting different results? It's madness. It does not work. It could have worked.
Yeah.
It could have worked when our parents were alive, as in their days. That might have worked. That might have worked. But now, no, it can't work.
I always feel if a man is exposed in an area where he is vast with skills, the basic skills like the house chores, it kind of puts him in a better ground, especially when he's married.
Yeah, and even in marriage, you were saying how it might get tiring.
Yeah.
To have roles, it definitely would. Because okay, let's say for example we had this pandemic, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people lost their jobs, and they didn't cope well.
Yeah, true.
Because the dynamics shifted. You find that if you have this thing that a man is expected to provide,
yeah, true,
and then the world just says no. It's not out of lack of trying. Just everything stops. Like everything stopped. You'll find like you'll be untethered. Like what do you do as a man? And if that is expected of you, that's how you've been raised. That's how society has put on you. That's the way the society has put on you. What do you do with yourself? And that's why you saw like there's cases of when domestic violence went up, you have like suicides.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the thing with this mentality of African men, it's a bubble. It's a it's a bubble, and a bubble is easily popped.
Mm-hmm.
Easily. That's why I was saying, when it comes to the world, these things don't translate.
Okay.
And yet we keep teaching them, rather instilling them in men,
Yeah.
not preparing them for what the world might bring up.
True.
Mm.
So let me ask you, as Kagika, what would you do? What would you do different if you have kids, especially men? Let me say you have a boy in the house. What different thing would you do that, let me say, was never done to you?
Okay, first of all, I feel like I always say this. I'd much rather not have a boy.
Why?
Okay, first of all,
Uh-huh.
I know myself,
Mhm.
and raising me
Yeah.
will be hard. Oh, that'll be a mountain to climb.
Okay.
Oh no, raising any child will be a mountain to climb, but raising a boy child, you need to be especially careful, because I want my child to be better than the world.
Okay.
And that would put also a different kind of pressure, because the world is it's set in its rules.
Yeah.
Now, going against that grain, trying to raise a boy who will at least thrive in this world,
Okay.
will be a challenge. But I'd say, first and foremost, equality.
Okay.
I'd raise a feminist.
A feminist man.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, because I am.
So, okay, let me ask you, does it mean, like, if you're able to do everything, you are automatically a feminist?
No, equality.
Because I think we always get it wrong in terms of
no, feminism is equality. It's about equality.
Not really.
It's hard for a man to see the other side, to empathize with the other side of things, as in to see from that perspective, because we're kind of privileged. The things that we go through are not the same as our experiences are not the same as a woman's experience, and that, like, colors our perspective differently.
So let me ask you, I tend to feel like, especially men, when growing up, there's that particular age during circumcision. I always feel that that's the place whereby men are instilled some kind of traditions. Like, because now you've been circumcised, your uncle or your dad calls you aside and he's like, now you're a man, you need to, there are those things that maybe they tell you. I don't know if that was given to you, but I always feel like there are those kind of advice that they always.
Yeah, okay. When it comes to advice, my experience personally, let me not speak for everybody else, but my experience personally was not so much. It was like just basic, like how you'd expect men to talk, and that's not a lot. Last words. To do better, we need to do better as a society when it comes to raising men, as men when it comes to living in the society. We need to at least revisit some of these norms that we were taught. We need to reshape and just rethink things
about it.